It's Wednesdays with Keegs, Kyle, and Dan. And if you ever wondered what winning the World Baseball Classic means to a team, all you had to look at was the on field celebration from Venezuela beating the USA Tuesday night. Keegs, it almost brought me to tears watching these grown men just like little kids out there.
That's pretty cool, man. And the celebration, I think the image that'll last for me like forever from that WBC and maybe from any WBC is Eugenio Suarez at second base. Like his arms are outstretched by his sides. He's looking up at the sky and yelling. That's as cool as it gets, man. And I think this WBC, for baseball fans who are into baseball year round, they know a little bit about Latin baseball culture, what it means to countries like the Dominican, Venezuela, Puerto Rico. But I think a lot of people watching then are more casual baseball fans, and they're getting introduced to that, which is very good. That is, I think, the best advertisement for baseball that you can have is a bit more of that Latin baseball culture and that flavor, the celebrations, the energy. But man, Suarez at second base, like looking up at the sky, that's an all-time baseball image for me. So happy for him. And, Andres Jimenez, the Blue Jays connection, he gets to win that WBC as well. But what it means to them, you can't ever question the WBC again. Like, that's over. Okay, just look at those celebrations. It's incredible.
You can't really say that the Venezuelans were one of the favorites going into the tournament. They were certainly one of the good teams. How important is it for this tournament moving forward that I guess somewhat of an underdog came in and beat the mighty Americans, and the Japanese fell early, and just to sort of spread the game and show that everyone does have kind of a fair shake at this thing?
That's huge. Like, Italy coming in with their run was big. And I think guys of the World Cup, like as a very casual soccer fan, like I'm not a big soccer guy, but I'll watch the World Cup because you hope that a country that is small and scrappy and ranked way outside of the top makes a run and knocks off a powerhouse. As a casual fan, that's what you care about. That's what's going to get you involved in this. And that's crucial. You don't want a sport to become too top heavy. I think of all of the years in women's Olympic hockey where it was just Canada and the US, and the rest of the games, you knew what was going to happen. Okay. You want other nations in any international sport to raise up to that level and make it competitive. And when a team like Italy can go through and knock off powerhouses, when Venezuela, who again was not a favorite, a good team, not a favorite, can come in and knock off the United States, the almighty USA baseball team, that's what makes this exciting. It's what makes you watch. And that's the important part. That it really gets to the heart of international competition where anything can happen and any player can come out of nowhere who you may not have heard about if you're not a hardcore baseball fan. That's the cool part, man. That's what made it so special last night. Like, I'll remember that game for a long time.
Any Blue Jays concerns about Ernie Clement? He only saw, I think, 7 plate appearances. He knew the role he was going to take. He knew he wasn't going to be a starter. He was on the USA, made it to the championship game, fell short. Is his playing time, is that a concern?
That is a bit of the danger of the WBC. Now, Ernie Clement, probably more than any other player on this roster outside of Vladdy, I trust him to get cold for a while and then ramp back up. I think he can do that. He's just such a natural player, natural athlete. I think he'll be fine. But that is the danger in the WBC because when you look over the past, I mean, goodness, he's been gone 17, 18 days. And you're looking at 7 or 8 competitive at-bats in that time. If Ernie Clement were here, he would have had 30 or 40, and he would have been in games fielding and defending. So that's why I expect when he's back, probably tomorrow, you'll see him in every game the rest of the way. You lose a bit of that momentum. And even guys, we talked to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. this morning, and he said that, yes, like the momentum is part of it. That's good. But when you're at the WBC, you're not focusing on fundamentals and getting ready for the season. You're not focused on getting better. Like, you need to win that game that day. Spring training is to go through the boring stuff. Okay. It's to go through the same ground ball 400 times in a row. That comes in handy down the road. So Ernie Clement's got to catch up a little bit. And that is kind of the blurry spot. If you're going to be on a team, but not starting and not playing, it's tough. You've got to keep yourself busy, unfortunately.
Dante Bichette's back in the news because he spoke to the New York Post and mentioned that Bo always kind of wanted to leave Toronto to go and play in New York City. Did you ever, or did anyone around the team ever get a sense of that? I can't say from a fan's perspective I ever felt that from him, but was there any sense of that in the dugout?
No, never a sense of that we got, and New York is always going to be the easy one to draw a connection to.
Sure.
And it's easy, guys, that once again, listen, if the Mets had have offered him $5 million a year, would he have wanted to go to New York? I mean,
Yeah.
come on, okay? So New York is always the easy one, that when a player goes there, I've always wanted to be in the Big Apple, play under the bright lights. If Bo had signed with Pittsburgh, he would have said, I've always wanted to come to this scrappy Steel City and take down Goliath. Okay. So I understand the sentiment there with Bo, and there's going to be some hurt feelings over that still, I think, from Jays fans. Now, when he does come back to Toronto, I think he deserves and should get an ovation that lasts longer than he is even comfortable with. I know Bo is not going to be a guy that's going to love the attention, absolutely, but I'm always going to remember, guys, that 3-run home run, Game 7 off of Ohtani. Like, I think that when we have more distance from that, we're going to remember it as one of the all-time great moments in this team's history, okay? And there's still going to be some hurt feelings over going to New York right now, but it's the money, man. And again, if the Mets hadn't offered him that much money, the lifelong dream of being a Met may not have been there as presently.
Bichette will forever have the ex-girlfriend effect on Jays fans, so they'll be forever checking his Instagram, aka his stats, and how he's doing. How has his camp been?
Man, it started out a little rough, okay, and the defensive videos, and then if you boot a ground ball in spring training, and we talked about this a bit, Dan, about 5 weeks ago. When you boot a ground ball or make a bad first impression in New York, I mean, God, good luck. Okay, you're going to get torched. I think that Bo Bichette is a player best appreciated over a stretch of time, and it's always been that way. He's not going to be the guy that comes in and runs faster than the speed of sound. Okay, that ain't Bo Bichette. He's not going to come in and hit a 490-foot home run. He's not going to wow you defensively. I mean, goodness, whatsoever. I don't like him at third base. I'm interested to see how that works. But I think Bo Bichette, once you watch him play every single day for a month, for 2 months, you start to realize, man, this guy is so damn annoying to pitch to. Okay, he's going to work all of those 10-pitch at-bats. He's going to shoot some singles to right field. Like, that's Bo Bichette's trademark base hit, is that slap line drive to right field. Eventually, Mets fans will come to appreciate that, like Blue Jays fans have, but it's not going to be as flashy right off the top. So maybe he has to deal with some crap to start out, and unless you're going to hit 400 in the first week, you probably end up on a couple of the tabloid pages, fairly or unfairly, I don't know. But yeah, that will be, I like that, Dan, the ex-girlfriend effect. Blue Jays fans will be checking in, and there will be some hardcore coping going on. You know, maybe Kazuma Okamoto starts out hot and everyone says, screw it, we're happier with this guy. But if that does not happen, man, the X effect is going in.
And he has Juan Soto to lean on in New York there too, because his tenure didn't get off to the hottest start as well. Back in Toronto, have you heard any rumblings of the Jays getting a new deal done with Schneider to make him inevitably the highest paid coach in franchise history?
A lot of secrecy around contracts with the Blue Jays when it comes to Shapiro, Ross Atkins, and John Schneider. And this seems to be how teams around baseball are doing it now, guys. I don't necessarily get it. I think that John Schneider being extended in this city is something that should be celebrated and frankly promoted by the team, because he is the definition of homegrown. They drafted this guy in 2002, I believe it was. So he's not only been developed as a player, but as a manager here. And I think in every conceivable way deserves that extension and deserves for it to be one that takes very good care of him. Now, it's also something, guys, where this could happen and it's not announced and we don't hear about it for a while. So I'm interested to see how this comes out, if it comes out. But it's something that I think absolutely needs to happen. I don't see any other way of this playing out. But the thing I'll say too, guys, on John Schneider is that the role of manager is different now than it was in 1995. Okay, there's way more media. There are way more appearances. There's way more being the voice of a franchise. Like, we talk about Vladdy as the face of the franchise, but who is the voice of the entire Toronto Blue Jays organization over 400 times a year? It's John Schneider. Pre and post game every single day, special appearances. He is the voice and face of this team every day, all year. And I think that's worth paying for, because I think he's done a damn good job as a manager and as a face.
Checking his playing stats, made it to AAA. That's as high as he got. Didn't get a crack at the majors.
Not quite. I like going back through Schneider's career with him sometimes. I was giving him a hard time the other day. I think he had a season where he stole 3 bags. He must have had a little pep in his step that year. But you look back through the affiliates he played with, it's affiliates who no longer exist. I think it was the Auburn Double Days he started out with. Like, who's that?
That's right. He
Right?
started with Auburn. Yep.
Auburn
Syracuse,
Penn
Charleston,
Yeah,
Dunedin,
Charleston.
Syracuse,
So
New Hampshire.
it's been a while. And he was, you can always tell when a guy was not really the top prospect because he goes from single A to triple A to single A to double A to single. I think they just kind of put Schneider where they needed a backup for a while there, but never cracked the big leagues, man. But it worked out. It worked out okay.
Yeah.
What is the level of concern around Toronto right now with Shane Bieber? And now that we know he's obviously starting the season on the IL, I mean, they have a kind of a bit of a luxury, a bounty of starting pitchers, but this person was obviously a key player for this season.
Yeah, level of extreme curiosity, I would say at this point. We might even know more later today from John Schneider. He said that maybe later this week they'd make a call on whether he starts to throw off a mound. And he's been throwing off flat ground. So it's not like he's shut down. That would be really worrying. He's throwing, his elbow's moving, but it's all on flat ground. He's playing catch. When he starts to throw off the mound, that's when we can start to chart out a timeline. Let's call it 6 weeks, 7 weeks, maybe. But until then, it's a mystery, guys, frankly. And the Blue Jays, there's 2 sides of this. The Blue Jays need Bieber, okay? He can very easily be one of their top 5 starters. We know this. He's got a sigh. He can be a great pitcher. Shane Bieber also needs to be on the mound because he's a pending free agent. Okay, there's no more option after this year. Like, there's motivation here. Okay, and this season can look a lot of different ways for him. If he misses most of it and comes back late and is just okay, that's one path in free agency. If he comes back in late May, early June and is brilliant for 120 innings, that's a way different path in free agency, a much more lucrative one. So there's motivation on both sides here. We just need to see him off a mound because until then, it's a little tricky to chart this out. And the Jays, yeah, they have depth. It looks good right now. But by the time Bieber comes back in late May, early June, July, whenever it is, something else will have gone wrong. Okay, someone else will be hurt. Something else will have, someone else will have struggled. They're going to need him by the time he gets back. I promise you. But we just don't know when that is, and hopefully we will soon.
Jays get to start their season at home, and I thought it was a rarity, but it's been split over their entire existence. They've started 24 games at home, 24 times at home, 25 on the road. And so it's not as much of a rarity as I thought. So the reason I asked that is, Keegs, who on the Blue Jays is packing their winter gear, because I don't know if you heard, but there's snow on the ground still right now, and who is staying behind? Any surprises that will be hopping on that flight?
Man, well, thank God they're starting at home, number one. The last few years, there were a couple long road trips to start the year because they were finishing up renovations. So after living out of my suitcase here for 6 weeks, immediately going to like 2 other American cities was never my favorite. So shout out to the schedule makers. But guys, cut days will be coming down soon. So all of the roster moves we've seen so far, that's expected stuff. That doesn't matter much. But from this point on, you are looking at the competitions in the back of the roster with Davis Schneider, Leo Jimenez, to a certain extent, Eloy Jimenez, those types of guys. We'll see how that goes. You are looking at the back end of the bullpen right now with Angel Bastardo, Tommy Nance, who shaved his beard today, and it really rocked me, fellas. Myself and a couple of other reporters were standing over in the clubhouse, trying not to be obvious, but kind of whispering to each other, like, is that Tommy Nance over at his locker? And it appears so. He is now 7 years younger. I might have to put him on my prospect list again. But those guys are competing for the back end of the bullpen as well. And I think, guys, this comes down right to Saturday, Sunday, like old school final cuts. But I'm most interested in that infield picture. Like, does Leo Jimenez sneak onto that airplane coming north? I don't know. It's looking pretty tough for him right now, but I think it goes right down to the end.
I'm actually looking at the Blue Jays schedule now. They start off with 3 series against, more or less bottom half teams, and then they have the Dodgers at home. But speaking from a pure travel perspective, they don't actually have much of a road trip. I mean, the first 2 road trips are Chicago and Milwaukee, which aren't long flights at all. Kind of an easy travel schedule for the almost month of the season until they go to Arizona.
Yeah, it's not bad. And listen, guys, this is where I get really passionate about the job, okay? Like the travel element, that's my sports. This is what I like the most. So right off the top, beautiful start in Chicago. Wish it was Wrigley. I guess I'll go to the White Sox. But you get the opening day there, their home opener, then the off day right after it. So free day in Chicago for me, fellas. Life is good. I love that trip. Chicago is probably a top 3 road city for me. Top 1, maybe. God. But not bad. And you get a pocket of West Coast around mid-season. Seattle, which is that's a rough one, fellas. It's World Cup time in Seattle, so I won't exactly be staying downtown. But a little West Coast pocket coming up after that, but not too bad on the travel front. And like you mentioned, when you start out against Oakland, Colorado, and the White Sox, you've got to hope you're going into that Dodgers series 7-3, 8-2. You know, I know it's early, but I don't care. This is the AL East. Like, all these games matter. Last year finished in a tie up top. Like, all these games matter. And the Jays last year were just hovered around 500 for the first 2 months. Like, if you can get some action early on, get some momentum early, that's great. And it's wide open for them to do this. It's inviting them to do that.
Keegs, can you do me a favor? When you're in Chicago, can you write a story on the Pope seat? The seat where the Pope sat at a game in Chicago.
The Pope's, I might just sit in it and see if anything comes over me, you know, see if I feel his holiness. But I love that the Pope is a fan of one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball. Like, he's not a front runner like in the Yankees or the Dodgers. That's how you know it's like, if someone tells you they're a White Sox fan, they're very much a White Sox fan. Okay, it's pure. So I respect it. I respect the Pope.
Heal the crippled was the message. So I mean, he's probably just continuing with all of that. And if you're in Chicago and you're sitting in the Pope seat, I got to tell you, the guy named Alex who's doing the on-screen graphics for this very show once sat in the Pope seat last season and didn't find out until I think he was at the game or after the game. But I've saved his name as the Pope in my phone since.
And I've told him, buy the season's worth of tickets in that seat. You can make a killing.
For sure.
Oh, absolutely. That's like the baseball version of, like, I feel like this is more 15 or 20 years ago, but like, woman in Missouri has a piece of toast with Jesus's face on it, and then you'd get to go on Ellen DeGeneres the next day, right? Like, that's the baseball version of it modernly, you know, sell the Pope seat. But I feel like some ticket scalpers out ahead of you on that, you know. It's that'd be a monetary opportunity.
Weird that the person with the toast on Ellen, things turned out better for her than for Ellen. My friend, safe travels. And and you're coming back to winter still. I'm sorry.
That's always tough. I always assume that while I'm down here, something has happened back home, and then I land and it's still snowy. So, you know, all of my complaints, karma's coming back around for me, fellas. But we'll make do. Next time we talk, I'll be in an apartment. It's not a damn hotel room, so life is good.